Tell me, darling, could we run away? We could hide away by the cactus desert blue. I can see it just a mile away from this crowded place. I could lay there next to you.
Welcome back to our channel, Best Freaking Friends Forever. Thank you guys again for tuning in. If you guys have not subscribed, please do so below. Comment, give us any recommendations on what you want to watch, hear about, anything like that. Comment if you liked something, if you didn't, just let us know. So today we're going to talk about Heavyweights. And this was released on February 17th of 1995. Opening weekend, I couldn't find a budget. There was no budget. Opening weekend, it was $6 million, or it made $6 million. In the U.S., it grossed $18 million, and worldwide, it grossed $18 million. So, if we remember, well, from last time, $18 million with today's inflation, that would be $31 million with today's inflation. And then $6 million would probably be about, what, 10 million maybe? Because 5 million was 9 million. So $6 million would probably be.
You said how much did it make? 10 million?
Opening weekend, it made $6 million.
6 million. We'll have to do that. 10 million.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, $6 million opening weekend. Again, I couldn't find a budget.
Yeah, it's so, I don't know why. Most of the time we can get a budget, but sometimes just randomly there won't be one.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you they have this documented somewhere.
I'm sure. Well, I think they have to. I would say. I mean, I think because you got to turn it into. I mean, it's got to go. There's got to be a paper trail somewhere because it's got to go to. I'm assuming whatever place is doing it, or going to film it under, that they would want it.
Right.
But, yeah. No, this movie was kind of, I don't know, it had some players that we've seen before, or some people in it that we've seen before. Like Aaron Schwartz, who played Jerry in it. It was him and Shaun Weiss and Roy, who played Kenan Thompson. So those three were on Mighty Ducks that we're going to talk about, that we did. So that was kind of interesting to see that they were back. And really, I mean, the movie, I like it. It's kind of interesting because I kind of didn't like the way, like the dad pretty much sent Jerry, they sit him down, they kind of have like a little intervention with him. And they show him this video, and it's about a summer camp, or that's what they tell him at first, that it's about a summer camp. And he sits down and he watches this video, and it's looking good because they have the big thing that they can jump on that throws you into the water, and they have the go-karts and all this stuff. It looks really fun. Then one of the camp counselors comes on, and it's a fat camp. And he was like, "What? I'm not going to that." And he's like, "You're just as fat as I am. Why don't you go?" And like he's kind of giving the dad attitude or whatever. And the dad pretty much like sends him away. And I'm kind of like, man, what that would do to a kid today. Like, but he goes, and it's funny because Kenan Thompson, Roy, they're on the plane together. And Jerry's by himself, and Kenan's by himself, or Roy's by himself. He goes up, "You going to fat camp?" He's like, "Well, why would you ask that?" He's like, "'Cause you're fat." And I was like, oh my gosh, like just that kind of stuff. But yeah, so they get to this fat camp, and all is hunky-dory at first, because the owners come on, and the previous owners are very nice people. And it's funny because it's Ben Stiller's dad and real mom are playing the owners. Mm-hmm. So Ben Stiller's mom and dad play the couple that run the camp. Well, they've been bought out by Ben Stiller's character, and he plays Tony Perkins. So Tony Perkins just changed, like he turns the camp upside down. Like it's all about fitness. It's all about, eating certain things, not eating, running things off. Like he's all about fitness and just turns their world upside down.
Wasn't he was a fat child, right?
Yes. And that was the thing he kept saying. Like I think at age 8, he was like, 8. At a certain age, he was like 300 pounds. He's like, "So I've been where you guys are." And he kind of promotes it. And he, at one point, I think he struggled with that all his life. Because at one point he goes, and he's like, "You're having a bad day. this, that, and he's like talking to himself, like he's talking to his younger self, trying to like calm himself when the kids are not weighing in properly. Because at the beginning, once he takes over, they weigh them and they give them a weight loss goal. And then he goes into the cabins and he takes all the junk food, because of course they smuggle it in, the kids do. And he finds it, and that's when Josh's character gets taken away, because he makes fun of him. And so he gets taken, or he disappears. And then he comes back, and they're like, oh, you're back, Josh. And he's like, Josh was bad, but now Josh is good. Like, he's been brainwashed, and he messes with them. So they end up, of course, he just gets out of control and like does start making the kids miss meals. And, you know, they pop the thing in the water that makes you fly. They disassemble the go-karts, and he has them exercising. And then he gets mad at them because they didn't weigh in what he wants. None of them lost weight. They all gained weight instead. So he takes them on a 20-mile hike, or what he tells them is a 20-mile hike, and he goes crazy on them and loses it. And so they kind of take back over the camp from there. Like, they lock him up in basically a cage, and they electrify it and everything. And these are like kids, and like they bring the counselors in and like, you can't do this, but then they leave them there. Just, you know. So, and they take back over the camp, and they have a scene where they're eating all this junk food. I mean, they've got syrup, like chocolate syrup, they've got pizza, they've got s'mores, they've got all this stuff, and they like basically pig out on that, and then they all are like in a junk food coma the next morning. And Pat, who is one of the like counselors that was there, he's been there for like 18 years. And he kind of was like, okay, we're going to do this a different way. Like, should we have done this last night? No, we're going to do this better. So he gets them working through stuff. And they always have an end of the year kind of like competition between the next or the neighboring
camp.
Well, camp, yeah. And they have 3 things that they have to do. Like, they have a obstacle course. They have the hall of they have to answer trivia questions, and then they have basically the go-kart race. And they've never won. The other camp has always won and always like creamed them basically. Well, this year, and I kind of like that was my favorite part, when Jerry and Pat, like after they disassembled all of the go-karts and they're out playing around, and Pat pushes Jerry around the track, I guess. That's one of my favorite parts, because Pat and Jerry have like a connection type bond that they have. And I think when Ben Stiller's character comes in, he kind of tries to do away with that, because he doesn't let the other counselors, like the previous counselors, be where they were before. Like, he moves everybody and he brings in his own people, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of something that they still get to see. And I thought like there was one part where he brings in Tony Perkins, which is Ben Stiller's character, brings in all these girls, and he makes them have a dance so that it'll force them to lose weight, because no girl's going to talk to them if they're fat. That's basically what he's trying to tell them. Mm-hmm. Well, the old counselors end up dancing and making it fun. Well, the girls start dancing, the boys start dancing, and they end up having a little bit of fun, and he comes in and immediately stops it and tells them to go home. And just he turns into a crazy person basically. And at the end, they have a family, when the family gets to come and visit, like all the parents, and they come in, and he escapes from when they've captured him. He escapes, and he goes crazy on the parents and the kids. And so they take him away, and his dad, he runs the camp too. The dad comes and says, well, he's like, we're going to shut this down. You guys go home. Like, but we want to stay. And so Pat ends up taking over, and they get to stay. And they end up winning against the other camp too. So, I mean, it's a good movie. Yeah. Ben Stiller does a really good job in it, I feel. And I'm not a huge fan of Ben Stiller, but he did a really good job. And he plays the dad too. his like the dad in the movie, like Tony Perkins Sr., because he's Tony Perkins Jr. and he plays Tony Perkins Sr.
Right. Well, and I'm sure like his character, that Tony Perkins, probably because like you said, he talked to himself. He probably has a lot of mental like damage. I'm sure when he was young and that overweight, he probably has a lot of trauma from that. And so he's like, why is everybody being so accepting of them when they were, I'm sure that's probably what, you know, the backstory of that character is, if there is one.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, and the dad was super, well, he plays the dad too, but yeah, the dad was super thin. And I'm sure the dad had a lot of money, so he probably wanted him, I don't know, when you want your kids to look a certain way, especially if because they're reflections of you in a way. You know what I mean? And I'm sure he probably did get that from it. His parents were probably like Jerry's parents and sending him away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I would be so mad at my parents if they did that to me. Like, if they came and said, like, and Jerry was overweight, but he wasn't like, you know.
Know that Wendy Williams, and she said this, that she went to a fat camp.
I did not.
Yeah, it was called something else, but she's like, let's call it what it was. And
well, yeah. I mean, they called this Camp New Hope or Camp Hope.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, and that's like how they try to get it off of, oh, it's just some fun summer camp. Well, no, it's not. It's a fat camp. It's for, and it's fun because the kids I'm sure. I mean, I hate to say that because probably nowadays they've gotten more creative with hiding it.
Right. But, well, I think that if you have a child that has a situation with weight, I think that is something that needs to be done within your household. And clearly it's a lifestyle that needs to happen, that needs to change. And so I just think that it's something that needs to be done between you and your family, your household, and your doctor. Like, what do we, get a nutritionist involved? Like, that's something that's, because that's very damaging to a child to just be like, here you go. Like, we're not the problem as parents. You're the problem. Let's just send you off. That's very detrimental to them.
Well, I mean, there's tons of people that say I'm a stress eater or I'm a nervous eater or, I eat for comfort because there's something else going on. So I feel like sending them to a camp, I feel like probably is not the best solution if that is the issue. Because I feel like if you don't overcome what's going on up here, nothing's going to change. Just like if you do have like another eating disorder, like if you have anorexia or bulimia, if you can't get to what is causing you to do that, it's not going to change, or you'll go back to it. You might be okay for a while, but you're going to go back to it. Like, you have to work through those issues, whatever they may be at first, I feel like, And telling your kid that, oh, yeah, you're going, no, not a good way to start it. I don't feel. I mean.
No. It's very, I know this movie is supposed to be all in fun and the whole fat shaming thing, and I don't know, they get really, like, these older movies like this, they get very, like, I don't know, like, some of the topics they cover in these movies is just like, whoa. Like, it makes
that would never fly today.
Would
definitely be with cancel culture and all of that. Woo.
Okay. So that was Heavyweight. Did you guys watch this? It's on Disney Plus, so go watch it on there if you want to. We enjoyed it. We enjoyed talking about it. We'd love for you to talk with us, so hop on, let us know what you think. You can also email us if you want to give us any suggestions, either in the comments or email. However, we also have a Facebook page and a Twitter account, so check us out. It's all Best Freaking Friends Forever. That's all of our handles for everything. Well, no, Twitter is bfreakingff.
Yeah, I think that's,
Yeah, so that's how you find us on Twitter. Yeah, so come and check us out, and we appreciate you all for coming and joining and watching and subscribing. We really like that because we kind of want to build like a friendship here in a community, and we want you to join us and get along with us. Argue with us too. We like a little argument, a little debate. But anyway, I am Tiffany. This is my BFFF Shelly. Join us next time, friends, for another great episode.